welcome to Scorched Earth and the general reading for the sign of Libra, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of October, if you can believe that. I hope you will. I'm using the Crow Tarot for you today. What do I have to tell you? There will be an extended at the end of this reading if it resonates with you and you want to go into it a little bit deeper. That's the first link in the description box. The second link is the 6-month overview that I did for each of the signs. If you haven't had a chance to see that already, you know, we're a third of the way through that period now, but we've still got a few months left in it. I've knocked down the prices accordingly. So yeah, if you haven't had a chance and you'd like to have a look at that, that's the second link in the description box. The third thing I wanted to tell you is Mercury retrograde, right? So standard rules of Mercury retrograde apply. You know, we can expect travel disruptions and, you know, technological mishaps, that sort of thing. But it's really in the realm of communication that you want to be paying like a lot of attention. It is sometimes difficult for people to express themselves, you know, exactly in the way that they mean to come across. You know, or maybe they express themselves well and we misinterpret what they say, you know, and it goes both ways, obviously. So it's worth being compassionate and somewhat stoic in your communications with people at this time, you know, yeah, take it easy on people and take it easy on yourself during this point, because the energy is very reflective, right? It's designed to help you tie up loose ends. So with it's not a good time to start things necessarily, but it is a good time to go back over things that you've already done or complete things that you've already started, you know. Focus on the re words here. So, you know, reimagine, regrow, reconceptualize, you know, take some time with this. Now, this Mercury retrograde is slightly different to others, and for those of you who are on Patreon, I've put together a little video for you this morning that is now up there, because I found some very interesting things out, and it explains why since this shadow period started it's been kicking the shit out of me. Like, I've really noticed the energy of this one. So yes, worth a look. Anyway, let's go and have a look at what's going on with you, Libra. Can I have 3 cards for Libra, please? Well, there are the first 2. We have the Tower and we have the 4 of Pentacles. Interesting. Current energy for Libra, please. We have the 6 of Pentacles, how very Libran, right in the center in your current energy. And what's coming towards Libra, please? We have the Page of Pentacles with the 3 of Swords in the reverse. I like this. I mean, in some ways I don't like it because it looks like you're kind of in an uncomfortable place at the moment, Libra, but I like where it's going, right? And that's the important thing. We've got the 9 of Swords at the bottom of the deck there, followed by the Hierophant. The Hierophant is not a card that speaks about balance exactly, but it does talk about stability, you know, foundational stuff. And you need a good base if you're going to balance things on top of it. So we can see you having a bit of concern over your stability at this point, whether internally possibly, but more importantly outwardly, I feel, whether that's just, you know, within family, friends, work, or society as a whole, you know. Let's get some clarifiers. Let's see. Oh, we're going to go with the triple goddess, apparently. Right. So, tell me about the Tower and the 4 of Pentacles, please. We have the 2 of Swords, we have the Hermit, and we have the 5 of Cups in reverse. Tell me about this 6 of Pentacles. Gosh, that was quick. Knight of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords. That's you, Libra. Tell me about the 3 of Swords and, good Lord, a fair flew out. We've got the Page of Swords with the King of Wands. One more, please. I said one. Away. Right, we've got the Page of Pentacles again and the Star. So that Page of Pentacles has come out twice there. I put these things here. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Ten of Wands again, sort of contributing to this idea with Two of Pentacles behind it. This idea that you've got quite a lot on your plate at the moment, Libra. I think we're coming to a point where you're going to be able to put some of this stuff down. But not yet. You've got a few weeks to get through yet. So we're starting off in your recent past. We've got the Tower and we've got the Four of Pentacles. Now the Tower is Scorpio energy. And it talks about that, you know, sudden shocking energy that comes in and brings something to a very abrupt end, right? And you can see that as being job losses or, you know, losing your home, something like that. You know, spectacular fallout with someone that you thought you would be friends with for a long time. But it is an energy of release, right? It often comes along when you've been given an opportunity over and over again to release something or take some sort of action on something, and for whatever reason you have chosen not to do it. And there comes a point where the universe steps in or goes, right, well, they're not going to do this. I'm going to push them into it, right? It's all about pushing you out of your comfort zone. It is a good card. Like I cannot help but see the Tower as a good card. It doesn't mean it's comfortable, doesn't mean you enjoy the process, because it's about releasing things that you didn't really want to let go of. Speaking of, that is the exact energy of the Four of Pentacles there. This is holding on to things. Look at that. Harder than you should be, you know? And we've got, we always see it depicted as somebody, you know, kind of holding on to these things. You've usually got one on the head, I said on the crow here. You know, they've got their feet on some as well, and they're holding on to them in the middle. And the thing with that is that it's a belief that if you let go of this, whatever it is, be it money, and this is sometimes called the miser card, you know, or a relationship or anything, even a thought pattern or something like that, that it won't come back to you in any meaningful way, and you will be the poorer for it. You know, that's why people hoard things. But energy is not designed to stay in one place. It becomes stagnant, you know. The correct form for energy is just, you know, flowing in and flowing out all of the time. So what we've got here in your recent past is possibly a bit of a tussle going on between you and the universe. There is something that is trying very hard to, well, it's not trying very hard. When you've got the energy of the Tower, that nothing can resist that. So it's coming in. It's here. But there's still some clinging on to something old that you are trying to do here. I mean, the best thing to do with the Tower is often just to step back. Make sure you're out of, you know, range of any falling rocks or anything like that, and just wait until the dust settles and see what it is that what you're left with. Major Arcana versus Minor Arcana. Major Arcana is often going to be the one that wins, and almost always when it is the energy of the Tower, right? So there has been something that you've been trying desperately to cling to, despite the fact that it is it's making a very concerted effort to leave your existence at this point. The cards that are underneath that are clarifying it are the Two of Swords, the Hermit, and the Five of Cups in reverse. And the Two of Swords talks about the need to make a decision, but often that is it's being resisted in some ways. It's like knowing that you need to make a decision one way or another. But notice how she's got a blindfold on her eyes here. She's got her back to the water and she's got her back to the moon. You know, she's got these two swords in her hand and she's like, no, I'm just going to make an intellectual decision about something at some point. But I'm not going to consult my intuition about it. I'm not going to consult my emotions about it. It's just all about this here. And the reason that I say it's resisting is because it feels to me often with this card that if you did actually consult your emotions about something, you'd know what it was that you were going to do or needing to do. And for whatever reason, you didn't want to do it, right? So now you bring it down to this stark swords kind of energy of, no, the right sword will make itself apparent to me in my hand if I just sit with this for a bit longer. It is kind of this energy here, knowing that there's a decision that needs to be made, knowing potentially that there is action that needs to be taken, whether that is release or, you know, whatever, and kind of being in an energy of not wanting to do it at this point. Now, we've got the Virgo card of the Hermit here, and it could be that this is to do with a Virgo with you, but that energy is about going within to find answers. And it seems to me like if this Five of Cups was the right way up, I could see this being kind of sister energy here. Knowing that you need to make a decision, but resisting it. Like, yeah. And why? Because you're stuck in this feeling of loss. Right? The Five of Cups is all about loss, and it's a very stuck energy. It's all consuming. It's about mourning the loss of the Three Cups here and not paying attention to the fact that we have the Two Cups sat to the side. You know, it's a card of grief often, and there are many ways in which grief can arise quite outside of, you know, the normal experience of bereavement. Any kind of loss leads to a grieving afterwards. But the interesting thing is, because this is inverted here, it's that point of stepping back and looking and noticing that Two Cups still remain. No, you may not be healed from, you know, whatever it is you've experienced, and that grief may still be there, but you have taken a step along the process. And grief is a process. It's not designed to be an emotional state that sticks in perpetuity. And we go from this to this via the Hermit. So it looks to me like, although on some levels you're trying to resist something, you're trying to hold on to something that you know is going deep down, you know it is going, and it's a point of acceptance that we're coming to here for you. It's like sitting with yourself and the wisdom that you contain within. It's like, yeah, actually I know. I didn't want to look at it for a long time, but now I know. And now I'm going to have to start the process of allowing that acceptance to form the main part of my response to this situation. Let's pop that up there. And indeed we see that reflected in your current energy, because we have the Six of Pentacles. Now, you know, it's somewhat of a trope that Libra is all about balance, and sometimes, you know, you're so busy trying to keep the balance that you don't take action when you should do, or, you know, you spend so long kind of weighing up all of the possibilities that you can never quite make a decision. I don't think that that's entirely correct. I think being Libra, being born a Libra as you are, you know, whichever one of the, you know, main planets presumably it's sitting in that you're watching this, it's about the pursuit of balance and finding a way to honour that balance whilst also honouring yourself, also speaking up for yourself. My God, excuse me, speaking up for yourself, you know, asserting your needs over a situation, even acknowledging that you have needs, you know, particularly in relationships. But we've got you attempting to bring that here. It's borne out by the fact that you've appeared underneath this, like this is by your hand is this going on here. But we also have this Knight of Pentacles, and I like that. It's Virgo energy again. So, you know, if there is a Virgo that you're dealing with, then that's, you know, all's the good. But for me, the Knight of Pentacles speaks specifically about extricating the value out of a situation, right? The page is about seeing it for the first time, and the Knight is about bringing that value up and putting it in front of you, or holding it to yourself, you know? We've gone from clinging to Four Pentacles here to just holding one, the only one that is really necessary moving forwards. And what in your current situation is important? Well, it's you. It is you. And I think that there is it seems to me that there's somewhat of a change of thought process going on here. Like, it could well be that what you were trying to cling on to was because it was important to you. You felt like it was important to you. But as this Hermit energy is kind of permeating through and you are now digging deeper into yourself, it seems like there's quite likely some truths that are being revealed to you here about you and about the way that you hold on to things, or the way that you need to let go of things. It's about bringing it all back to a central point, and perhaps what you thought you needed, perhaps what you thought was good for you, perhaps what you thought you couldn't live without, you're now seeing it in terms of it kind of highlighting within you things that require work, areas of your psyche that are struggling in some ways. Right? Whatever the situation is, it feels to me like it's been a trigger, something that touches something that goes a long way back, and it's been a struggle, but I feel like you are getting to a point where you're seeing a higher wisdom, a deeper level of insight from what is going on. And rather than rushing this process, because the Knight of Swords is your knight. We've got a Knight of Pentacles again. We've got a taking steady, taking it slow, really making sure that you are taking what is important out of any given situation, not taking any shortcuts here, certainly not taking any mental shortcuts. You know, perhaps you find yourself questioning your assumptions, and finding, you know, trying to work out exactly where those assumptions have come from, because they're not entirely accurate. Now, interestingly enough, the video that I just put up on Patreon was dealing with the Mercury retrograde energy. Like I said, why it's different, but it is very much working along these lines at the moment. It's actually the combination of Mercury with Pluto and Eris in the mix as well. It's showing us bits of ourselves that we didn't really know were there. They've been there the whole time, but illuminating them so that we can see them. And it's difficult. And you know, you can tell by the fact that the Five of Cups is here. You know, although it's in the reverse, in order for the reverse to apply, it really needs to have been in the upright in the first instance at some point in the past, right? There are challenging energies around you at the moment, and there's certainly this need to re-examine yourself in the pursuit of balance. Not in a sense of, you know, kicking yourself and going, well, obviously I'm a piece of shit and that's why this has happened. It's like really looking at yourself and going, where is the truth here? Where is my truth here? Where is my value here? What have I learned from this situation? You know, if there's something about me that has come to the fore, perhaps I need to look at it, and I need to look at it objectively. And I do feel like that's what you're doing, because in October, what we've got is the Three of Swords here with this Page of Pentacles. Now, again, the Three of Swords is in the reverse, and just like the Five of Cups, really, for this to happen, which is a healing, right? It's not healed, but it's beginning the process of healing. In order for that to happen, you need to have been in this state first. And both of these cards together are giving me effectively the same message, and it is intensified by the fact that they're coming up in combination, and that is there's a process of healing that is open to you in October. I think that the retrograde is definitely assisting you with this. I think there's some aspect of the retrograde that is specifically difficult for cardinal signs, of which you are one, you know. And it's not just if it's your sun sign, you know. I think we're looking at this affecting Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus and Mars. So if you've got any of those planets in Libra, Aries, Capricorn or Cancer, then you can, it's quite challenging, but the benefits are commensurate with the level of challenge that you experience. there's an opportunity here for great healing. There's an opportunity to start redirecting energy in a different way, right? I see the Page of Pentacles in lots of ways. First and foremost, this discovering of value. And you are discovering valuable information this month about yourself, Libra. But it is also about this slight change in direction. Now, because I see the Pentacles as energetic currency, anything that you can invest becomes a pentacle. Money, for sure, but I don't think that we're down that road at the moment. Time, care, effort, love, your energy in general, all of these things can be indicated by the Pentacle suit. So what we've got here is a change of direction in terms of where you invest your time, your care, your effort, your energy and love. And if we then couple on the other interpretation of this, which is about seeing the value in things, we could see you seeing very differently yourself, very differently by the end of October, Libra, to the way that you do now. And possibly first and foremost is the acknowledgement of the grief that you have been experiencing, right? Knowing that there has been grief that has been carried with you for a long time. Like, I don't feel like any of this is necessarily that present. Whatever the Tower and the Four of Pentacles refers to here is present, but it's tapping on the door of something that happened much, much further back in the past. And that retrograde energy of going back over things and making sure that you've understood them properly, making sure that you've done the work properly, sees you going in a slightly different direction. And it's borne out by the cards that we've got down here. I have 4 of them, for heaven's sake. We've got another page, the Page of Swords. Now that's your page, and it speaks to me of a change in direction in the way that your mind works with things, right? I always think a mind stretched by a new idea can never return to its original dimensions, and that's the energy that I'm feeling for you here, Libra. It's like there's so much comes in that taking the time to sit and work through it is really important for you. I mean, it's the other meaning of the Queen of Swords here. It's that high level of mental discernment, right? The ability to be able to go through vast swathes of information and work out what is true and what is not, what you need and what you don't, what is part of an old story, an old narrative, and what will actually help you moving forwards. Because it feels to me like the debris is potentially still falling at this point. Certainly the dust hasn't quite settled yet. And maybe it's a bit overwhelming for you at this point. I don't know which fucking way is up at the moment because shit's still fucking raining down on my head, There will come a point where that stops, and there will come a point where the dust settles, and then you can sift through it and you can start, opening up to this new information. Page of Swords. But in addition to that, we also have the Page of Pentacles again, and we have a definite redeployment of energy in a very different direction. I would suggest possibly, again, because of the retrograde, that this is internal rather than external. But we have the King of Wands here. Okay? So actually what we have is a combination of internal and external there, because the King of Wands is all about action and living and experience. It's very outward facing. You've got in and out going on at the same time. And would that not make sense with your need to try and bring the balance between the two? I think that it would. But we also have here the Star, card of Aquarius in the major arcana. It is yet another card that speaks about healing, but more than that, it speaks about hope, and it speaks about connection. It speaks about the future, and what we've got here is the potential for a return to a state where you are more comfortable. Okay? Now, it's not in the comfort zone that you've been sat in up until now. Right? There's something here of the energy absolutely like hoofing you out of the door and being all like, there's a garden out there, go and sit in it, Libra. Like, what the fuck? And you've been kind of like resisting it and being like, no, I don't want to. There's a new, bigger, wider comfort zone that is availing itself to you at this time if you choose to accept it. And honestly, the way I see this going, I don't see you resisting it for much longer. You're kind of like stepping out there and going, okay, maybe. Let's go and see what this is out here. It's a bit more comfortable than being in here, you know. And whilst what you discover this month may not be comfortable in the first instance, I don't think that you would change knowing it once you've got hold of it, because it seems to set off a cascade of other insights into you. And you know, as my chaos magician friend says, observation is processing. Once you see these things, you've already begun the activity of processing it and reconciling it and putting it where it needs to be. I just think that you should expect that this month will be a little bit up and down in that regard, but ultimately leading to something, a much more comfortable internal place for you as a result. Right, I'm going to go over to Vimeo now and pull this apart a little bit. I want to look at October specifically and see if we can get some structure into it and maybe a little bit of advice and that sort of thing. So if you want to join me over there, that is the link in the first link in the description box. If not, no shade, not a problem at all. Just ride the wave, Libra, I think is the best advice I could give you at this point. And don't try and force anything too much. Just see where the energy takes you and see what you can make of it once you get there, you know? Right. So I shall leave it there. Know that I love you all very, very much, and I will see you soon.